"You're finished, Sarah. Pack your desk after tonight's dinner. Don't make a scene." Those were the exact words my boss, Jonathan Keane, whispered to me moments before I was set to host the company's biggest investor gala. Fired while I was running the event I built from scratch. My knees buckled, but I smiled anyway. Because the room was filled with billionaires who'd flown in just to see what I had built. He thought he'd humiliate me in front of them. Instead, he set the stage for his own downfall. Before I tell you how it unfolded, subscribe to Lawful Payback and share where you're tuning in from. My name is Sarah Mitchell, 36 years old, from Austin, Texas. For 8 years, I was the operations manager at a mid-sized tech firm called Keane Analytics. My days started at 6 a.m. with black coffee and a rush to the office, where I often stayed past midnight. I wasn't rich. My mortgage, my younger sister's college tuition, and my father's medical bills meant overtime was my lifeline. Every extra hour helped. My coworkers joked that I lived at Keane Analytics, and maybe I did. Loyalty was my only currency, and I gave it freely. Jonathan Keane, the CEO, wasn't easy to work for. He liked control, liked to remind everyone we were replaceable, but I thought if I kept my head down, worked hard, and delivered results, my dedication would be enough. So when I was put in charge of planning the annual investor dinner, the biggest event of the year, I poured everything into it. Sleepless nights, endless rehearsals, double-checking every detail. This was supposed to be my chance to prove my worth. Instead, it became the moment he chose to destroy me. The trouble started 3 months before the gala. Jonathan slashed everyone's overtime, claiming efficiency cuts. But strangely, his favorites, the ones who flattered him most, still logged as many hours as they pleased. I begged HR for answers, but they smiled with that practiced corporate chill. "Your hours are aligned with company policy, Sarah. Nothing irregular here." But I knew better. My paycheck was shrinking even as my workload doubled. My rent check bounced. Dad's prescriptions were delayed because my card declined. Every time I thought I'd catch up, another deduction appeared on my payslip labeled adjustment. The stress ate at me. I lost sleep, lost weight, lost the spark that once made me proud of my job. Jonathan seemed to notice, and enjoyed it. He'd stroll past my desk at 10 p.m., smirking, "Still here? Maybe you should learn to work smarter, not harder." By the week of the gala, I was running on fumes. My hands shook as I arranged seating charts and vendor lists. Every centerpiece was hand-picked, every investor personally confirmed. Then came the ultimate insult. Jonathan pulled me aside that morning and said, "After tonight, you're gone. HR will handle your exit. Don't embarrass me in front of my guests." I wanted to scream. Instead, I swallowed the humiliation. My job, my reputation, my future, all slipping away before the night even began. But fate was about to turn the tables. That night, while arranging name cards in the banquet hall, I stepped into the back office to grab extra pens. On the desk sat an open binder, payroll records. Something caught my eye, my name, logged hours, dozens missing. I froze. Line after line, my overtime was scratched out, adjusted downward, replaced with neat initials. It wasn't a glitch. It was deliberate. Someone had been falsifying time cards, stealing my wages. My heart pounded. This wasn't just unethical, it was criminal. I snapped photos with my phone, hands trembling, every stolen hour, every fake adjustment. For months, I'd been gaslighted into believing I was paranoid, careless, or inefficient. But here was the truth in black and white. They had been robbing me. Suddenly, everything clicked. Jonathan's smirk, HR's evasive answers, the shrinking paychecks. My exhaustion wasn't incompetence. It was exploitation. I slipped the binder shut just as a waiter knocked on the door. My face burned, but inside, a fire sparked. I had nothing left to lose and finally, something to fight with later that night. As Jonathan toasted his dedicated team, I stood in the back, smiling for the cameras. But inside, I was already planning my counterattack. The next morning, I marched into the office of a local employment lawyer, Maria Sanchez. She listened as I spilled everything, the pay discrepancies, the photos, Jonathan's threats, even the false HR records. Her eyes narrowed. "Sarah, this is wage theft. If your evidence holds, you have a case, a strong one." We filed immediately. Within a week, Keane Analytics hit back. Their attorneys painted me as a disgruntled ex-employee. They waived spotless company records, conveniently corrected to erase any discrepancy. At the first hearing, the judge frowned. "Ms. Mitchell, without concrete proof beyond photos, your claim may not hold." Doubt crushed me. Maria squeezed my hand under the table. Don't give up. They slipped somewhere. We'll find it. The company unleashed its arsenal, affidavits, glossy HR reports, even character assassinations. They said I was unstable, forgetful, vindictive. To the court, I looked like an overworked woman grasping at straws. But Maria was relentless. She subpoenaed Jonathan's internal emails, payroll software logs, and security badge records. She compared my clock-in times to system times. Slowly, cracks began to show. Every night, I replayed Jonathan's sneer in my head. His arrogance was my fuel. If I lost, I'd sink under debt forever. But if I won, his empire would crumble publicly, piece by piece. And deep down, I knew arrogant men like him always left fingerprints on their lies. The day of trial felt like walking into war. Jonathan strutted into court in a tailored suit, flanked by 3 attorneys. His testimony dripped arrogance. Ms. Mitchell was emotional, disorganized. We adjusted her hours because she failed to follow procedure. The HR director echoed him, voice perfectly rehearsed. Our records are accurate. She's fabricating claims out of spite. I sat small at the plaintiff's table, the odds crushing me. But Maria stood tall, calm, controlled. She projected an email onto the courtroom screen. It was from Jonathan to HR. Cap Mitchell's overtime at 40 max. Don't let her exceed. Adjust if necessary. She's milking the clock. Gasps rippled across the room. Jonathan's smile faltered. But Maria wasn't done. She called a surprise witness, a former payroll clerk named Tina Harper. Her voice trembled. We were told to alter Sarah's timesheets, Jonathan's orders. I quit because I couldn't keep doing it. Silence fell like a thunderclap. Jonathan's lawyers objected, but the judge overruled. The damage was irreversible. The paper trail, the email, the testimony, it was over. Maria's closing argument was a scalpel. Keane Analytics didn't just cheat Sarah Mitchell. They stole from her, silenced her, and tried to destroy her reputation. But the truth doesn't disappear. It leaves a signature. When the verdict came, the words rang like a bell. Judgment in favor of the plaintiff. Full back pay. Treble damages. Legal fees covered. Jonathan's empire cracked that very second. When the gavel struck, I exhaled for the first time in months. The courtroom clapped softly. Even the bailiff smiled. I wasn't just awarded every stolen dollar. I received damages 3 times the amount. Enough to pay off my father's hospital bills, clear my debts, and start fresh. Jonathan, his investors pulled out within weeks, disgusted by his arrogance. Keane Analytics spiraled, stock plunging, reputation shredded. HR resigned en masse. And Jonathan was forced to step down. And here's the twist he never saw coming. The very investors he tried to impress at that gala, they reached out to me. They liked my grit, my vision, my refusal to stay silent. Within 6 months, I launched my own consultancy, funded by them. Now, when I walk past the glass tower where I once poured in sleepless nights, I smile. One careless lie destroyed him. One stubborn truth saved me. So the next time someone tells you to stay quiet to keep your job, remember this: silence protects the powerful. Speaking up rewrites the story. If you believe the truth always comes out, subscribe to Lawful Payback. The next story